Hey, what up, guys? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Week 2 Scoreboard. Jumping right into Week 2, guys. Where's the competition? And I'm not meaning that in a sarcastic, cocky attitude. From around the league, looking at the scores, guys, the closest matchup was 16 points. Biggest margin of victory, I won over Mike by 40. So definitely the competition a lot more spread out this week, compared to our close matchups. Guys, looking at it, there was just some really bad scoring outputs this week from a lot of teams. I felt like, a lot of the core players, some of your big name guys from a lot of teams, got shut down this week. So that's not going to happen all the time, but it's wild that, it happened a lot today or this week. So, let's jump right into the scoreboard real quick. I'm going to start out with my matchup. I defeated Mike in the roommate battle, 122 to 82. So, put a little stomping on Mike, defeated him by 40 points. My best scoring output was from Eli Manning with 26, even though he had 3 picks this week. He had 510 yards, leading my squad. Had a couple other guys almost touch 20, with Arian Foster, he actually hit 20, and Vernon Davis with 19. Going over to Mike's team, Victor Cruz and Drew Brees were pretty much all she wrote for Mike. Drew Brees at 19, Victor Cruz at 23. And then after that, Jermichael Finley getting 0, Cowboys D getting 2, Colston with 4. That's just not going to carry Mike's team. Mike did get a little better, scoring 82 this week, but, it's he's going to need a little bit more consistency out of his team if he ever wants to win. Jumping into Matty Ice and Brown Rice versus the Marshall Backstabbers. This is the gay best friend matchup with Jared and Joe. Turned out to be a pretty good matchup, but, Jared's team really clicked this week. Had a lot of high-scoring outputs. Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz both having big games with Eli this week. Hakeem Nicks pulling in 25. For Jared also, had 21 from Phillip Rivers, 18 from Marshawn Lynch, 13 from Mike Wallace. So some good scoring outputs. He is kind of worried about, Ridley only had 9, Marshall only had 2. Looking at Jared's bench, though, man, his bench snapped off. Bench scored 78, so his bench scored the same as Jared's starter, or Joe's starter. So Jared definitely had a good week for him. Looking over at Joe now, Matt Ryan pretty much led the way for him, 17, and Seahawks defense had 18. Pretty much pedestrian starts from Steven Jackson, Des Bryant, guys that he would hope to produce. So Joe falls to 1-1, but I mean he'll definitely be back there. He's got a good team, a lot of good talent. I think he'll be fine. Going over to the brother-sister matchup of Jeff and Ashley. This one, going to be supposed to be a pretty close scoring game, and Ashley put it on Jeff by 27 points. So, 32 points. So, nice job, Ashley. A lot of people underestimated her team, and she's put up 100 plus points in each week, first 2 weeks. So good for her. Looking at her squad, Tom Brady kind of started out slow, finished with 14. Dwayne Bowe really came on strong with 22. She's definitely going to have to find another flex spot. With Robert Meacham pretty much disappointing the first 2 weeks. But, looking at Frank Gore and Maurice Jones-Drew are going to carry her team. Frank Gore is much better than expected this year. Looking over at Jeff's team, another pretty low scoring output for Jeff. Matt Stafford really not living up to his expectations, only leading him with 12. And that's really it. I mean, you look, McFadden had 3. He started Washington running back. Alfred Morris won't be starting in 2 weeks. That's just the way Shanahan is. So hopefully, he had Trent Richardson on his bench squad for 25. At least he's got a solid backup there. Eric Decker, not apparently Manning's favorite target, only had 5, and then Jordy Nelson and Brandon Lloyd only combining for 14 points. So definitely not what Jeff wants out of his receivers. Going on to Megatron's Army versus RG3. Nico looking like he was going to pretty much blow Brock up, but he didn't really score a bunch after those few games. Got a huge output from Cam Newton with 25, Reggie Wayne with 13, and Vincent Jackson came alive with 18, but a lot of his studs didn't produce. You look, Jamal Charles had 1, Matt Forte had 7 with the injury. Julio Jones only had 1 last night. That was a big surprise considering his week 1 game. Jason Hanson got him 15. Looking at Nico's bench, he had RG3 for 30 on the bench. So that's a good strategic play for Nico. He can pretty much play the matchups every week at quarterback and pretty much get 22 to 30 points every week with those style quarterbacks. Looking at Brock, Yeah, I know this week frustrated Brock, but his team's good enough and they got talent where he's going to bounce back. He'll be fine. The injury to Ahmad Bradshaw hurt him really bad this week with one. Chris Johnson continues to really disappoint, guys. And, he kind of lashed out at his offensive line this week, but Chris Johnson total is 6 fantasy points, 2 combined weeks. Tony Romo had 12 for Brock. Reggie Bush had 31. Reggie Bush had 45% of Brock's points. It's not good. Larry Fitzgerald only had 1 catch for 9 yards. Calvin Johnson had 9, another solid output. Gates was a late scratch. Brock couldn't get it in time. Still probably wouldn't have mattered, but, Brock had a couple good outputs on his bench. So, look for Brock to bounce back. But news is for Nico, he's 2-0. I joined him as the only other undefeated team. So me and him got some targets on our back. I got a big matchup this week. Going on to Balls Deep versus Lance Berkman, so Javi and Eric. Javi had another good week. CJ Spiller, fantasy stud. I mean, as long as Fred Jackson's out, Spiller will get you 20-plus points. He's electric. He looks like Reggie Bush from USC. I mean, that's kind of reminiscent, just a playmaker. Peyton Manning, really disappointed, only 7 points, where he had Vic on his bench go for 21. So, I mean, it could have been ugly for Eric. Javi could have easily put up 120. Demaryius Thomas, another good start as a flex with 13. Andre Johnson disappointed with 2. But, double digits out of pretty much everybody else. LaShawn McCoy with 12. Going over to Eric's team, I mean, Aaron Rodgers kind of started the week out bad with 10. Willis McGahee, great night last night, had 24 points, had 2 touchdowns. Roddy White finally showing up, but Randy Moss, Aaron Hernandez going out really hurt Eric. Eric had Andy Dalton on his bench go for 22, but he ain't sitting Aaron Rodgers. You just don't do that. So, Eric pretty much did what he could and, scored what he could in this game. So look for Eric to bounce back. He is 0-2 now, so look out for that. He's looking for his first win. So, guys, popping into the following week, week 3 already. We are moving right along. Matchup here, big matchup, I think, right now. Me against Brock. Always good games, always have talented teams. Should be a pretty high-scoring matchup. I believe both teams are projected 114. So, hey, look out for it. It's going to be good. Hopefully, I get Ryan Matthews back this week. Hopefully, he produces right out of the gate because Dallin Brown's not doing it. Going on the next matchup, it'll be Mike versus Jeff. I really have a feeling this is going to be a low-scoring game. They're both projected to score triple digits, and it hasn't happened yet either for either of them this season. Mike's projected to score like 121 week and 115 last week, and he hasn't touched 90s. So, I mean, projections are usually bogus, guys, so don't look at those. Don't be a projection whore and just be like, oh, yeah, he's projected to get 15, and then he gets you 4, and you're pissed. So really, look into it. Play the matchups. I see both that it's going to be a low-scoring game. Maybe somebody hits the 90s, but mostly going to be low scoring. ABC Nico versus Jared. That's going to be a good matchup, guys. Especially last week, you saw Jared really put on some points. See if he can get some consistency there. And then if Nico's team plays as a whole, there are going to be some high scoring matchups there. But the projected line on that is 113 from Jared to Nico's 104. Projected line real quick from Mike and Jeff's matchup was 112 for Mike and 109 for Jeff. So it's going to be close, but it ain't going to be triple digits. Looking at Joe and Eric's matchup, Eric looking for that first win. He's projected at 96 to Joe's 98. So like I said, projections, I think, if Des Bryant can really get it together for Joe and he can put together a collective week, Joe could be one of the best teams in the league just based on talent alone. So look out for that matchup. I think it is going to be fairly close, but the way Eric's team is kind of like roller coaster. He's got the talent there. It's just the consistency's a little low. And then looking at another good matchup. I think this might be matchup of the week, to be honest with you. Kiss My Ash, which is Ashley and Ben versus Javi. Both these teams... Shit, niggas getting clapped out there. Both teams, have really surprised since the draft. Javi's team was, pretty high acclaimed right out of the draft. Ashley's definitely wasn't. And she's shocked the fantasy world, her and Ben. She's got a pretty good bench. Michael Bush might be a great play this week. Obviously, I bet she's going to sit Robert Meacham and start Michael Bush. I see Michael Bush getting some good points. I'm going a little bit deeper into this matchup because I feel it's matchup of the week. CJ Spiller at Cleveland. He is about to own Cleveland. I'm going to double check his projection here. He's only projected at 17. Look for 25 out of CJ Spiller. Dude is talented. Pretty much a bust his first couple years in the league. He is a monster right now. Fred Jackson's still out. When Fred Jackson comes back, they're still probably going to split 50-50, and they should. Peyton Manning versus Houston. I'd probably go, Michael Vick. It'd probably be his play there for Jobby. But yeah, I mean, looking at it, guys, both teams have favorable matchups. I'm going to look at these a little bit more later. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, so I didn't really prepare this video. But yeah, guys, great matchups this week. I feel hopefully the continuity is a little bit closer and the matchups are a little bit closer. It just makes it a little bit more exciting. I mean, these were pretty much blowouts right out of the water right away, in the early noon games. So, I mean, guys, continue to make those trades. We had a couple trades with Jeff. He said he's going to make a trade every week and play the matchups. We'll see. Hopefully maybe he can do that. Special shout out for Nico. Thank you for doing the power rankings. I love reading them every week. I think it kind of makes owners a little bit more excited about where their team is. They don't like being at the bottom. Maybe make some moves. We'll see. Jared, if you want to make yours, add on. You could make like an updated under his that he makes, and just put your thoughts. But yeah, definitely, Nico. Thank you so much for doing those. I really appreciate that. Also, guys, very active waiver wire today. I saw Joe made like 4 transactions. So hey, everybody's trying to improve their team. Call anybody. Call, text, let them know, hey, I'm interested in so-and-so. I want so-and-so. Work out a deal, guys. Everyone's wanting a trade. Don't be afraid because it's a keeper league. Hey, you got to make the moves. Keeper is only going to take you so far. So don't put huge value on guys that you think, are big keepers. Obviously, RG3's value skyrockets because he's a keeper and because Nico got him. So right now, I mean, RG3's very high, and I doubt Nico would trade him. I see Brock just posted a new poll, guys. Get on that poll. It's about a big topic in the NFL right now, and it is a big topic, and it's causing a lot of controversy. So anyway, guys, hop on the page, read the notes, make some trades, talk some trades. Watch the video. It's a very long video today, guys. I apologize, but it's in depth this time. It wasn't quick like before. I was gonna post a video this morning, but I woke up kind of late, had to rush and get ready. I had to go to Chicago again today. So, all right, guys, have a good week. Good luck. Set those lineups. Make sure you check the injury reports, stuff like that. We don't want to have any inactive sittings. So, good luck. If you guys have any questions, post on the page. If you do not, good luck this week. Hopefully, I'm about to go 0-3. Continue to put up hella points. We shall see. Hopefully, all you guys do the same as well. So, all right, guys, have a good week. Give me a holler if you need something, but I will catch you guys next week.